Tell me when to start, Sohel.
Sir, I just a moment, sir. We'll start the recording and then we'll start the session.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have another interesting session by Professor Sanjeev Kulkarni. Please be attentive and make sure that you're making relevant notes while Sir speaks. Raise your hand if you have something to ask or drop your message in the chat box so that we can take it up. Although it has to be relevant to the topic that Sir is teaching you today. Sanjeev sir, it's over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sohel. We are coming to the end of these expert sessions, and I believe I'm left with a couple of them. So I would like to start with a concept called branding today. It's a very important concept in marketing. I believe you guys have been exposed to this concept. However, I'll give you my insights on what is branding, why it is important, and how a product, service, personality, or anything that is under the sun, including the sun, can be branded. So what is a brand? I'll read out the classical definition of brand first. Is a name, term, sign, symbol, design, or a combination of all these to identify the goods or service of a seller and differentiate it from the rest of the competitors. So you are essentially talking about the personality of a product or a service that is represented in terms of a sign, a symbol, a logo, a color, a picture, which is eventually the identity of the product, and then it works as a major differentiator. A brand makes you stand out from your competitors. A brand is a major differentiator. So that's the function of a brand. So when we say fast food or we say burger, the brand that springs to our mind is McDonald's, though we have several other competitors offering the same product. When we say the biggest bank in India, the brand that comes to our mind is State Bank of India. When we say of the fastest courier service, that probably the name Blue Dart comes to our mind, or DHL comes to our mind. DHL and Blue Dart, they differentiate themselves using different branding positions. While Blue Dart would position itself as the fastest courier service, DHL differentiates itself by saying that we deliver whatever. So there's a very interesting ad of DHL on YouTube. We say that whatever you give us, we will deliver. Even if it is an emotion, we will deliver that emotion as well. So that is what the brand is. Branding is a major concept because products or services do not get branded on their own. You have to work towards branding, you have to nurture a brand. And when a brand grows, the brand becomes very important element of the product or the service that you are offering. A brand results into brand equity, which is a measurable entity in terms of how much the brand is worth. And when these brands are sold or bought, this brand equity or the amount equivalent to the brand equity is given or taken. So what is that we should know about branding as a concept? Or what happens when you do not have a brand, when you do not have your product as a brand, then your product is just another commodity. So you have rice as a commodity, but you have Kohinoor Basmati rice as a brand, or you have Dawat rice as a brand here in India. So these are the differentiators. This is where the product moves out from the sector of a commodity and becomes a branded product. So a brand can have tangible attributes and intangible attributes. So tangible is what can be seen, felt, heard, touched. Intangible is what a brand would acquire in terms of its position in the mind of the customer, or top of the drawer recall. What is this top of the drawer recall? When you talk about a commodity, then a particular product, a particular brand, a particular picture, a particular name springs to your mind, and that is where a product has moved from commodity to a brand. So when you have a product, it has its packaging or its labeling, its attribute, its functional benefits, all these are tangible things. But what is not tangible is the quality. Now, quality is fitness to use. But when you talk about a particular product and when the product has become a brand, then it represents a particular quality that is intangible. But it can be perceived, it can be felt, it can be experienced, and it can be experienced again. That's why quality is a very important intangible attribute of a brand. Another benefit that a brand would offer is the emotional benefit. Emotional benefit is related to the mind and the emotion of the user. So if I'm comfortable with a particular brand, if I'm used to a particular brand, then I would be very happy and I would be most comfortable when I'm using that product. I may not be so happy, I may not be so comfortable when I'm using a product which will offer me the same features and benefit that my brand does, only because it comes from a different brand. Let me give an example. We spoke about Dettol and Lysol last time, or Dettol and Savlon last time. Dettol is an antiseptic. And when I say Dettol, the brand that springs to our mind, or when I say antiseptic, the brand that springs to our mind is Dettol. You may have several other products which are Dettol equivalent, and they may offer you the same features, advantage, and benefit that Dettol does. But you may not have the comfort, the peace of mind that you get when you use Dettol. And that is because the brand Dettol has created that kind of zone of comfort in our mind. So if you see the various products or services that we use every day, they are the result of very careful branding. And the branding has come as a result of very carefully planned, designed efforts by the marketers. The value that it delivers, I'm sure you are familiar with the difference between price and value. Price is what you pay, and value is the kind of benefit, the kind of emotional, physical, tangible benefit that you get out of the product. So there is a very famous saying in English literature: who wants a cynic who knows the price of everything but the value of nothing? The value is a different idea. So what kind of value that you get when you use a product, what kind of culture, what kind of image, all these are emotional or intangible benefits that you get out of a brand. Brand identity is the marketer's promise to give a set of features, benefits, and services consistently. So when you are loyal to a particular brand, when you are sold to a particular brand, that brand gives you promise that we will offer this on a continuous basis. We'll offer this consistently, whether it is a product or whether it is a tangible benefit, whether it is an emotional benefit, whether it is a price or value or whatever. So the consistency with which these benefits are delivered to the user is known as the brand identity. Let me pause here for a moment and remind you of the differences among features, benefit, and advantage. Feature of the product is what the product offers you, what it is. Advantage is what it does, and benefit is what it means. So if I'm using a phone, my phone has certain features. My phone has a particular processor that decides the speed of my phone. My phone has a particular display that decides the picture quality of my phone. My phone has a particular audio setup that decides the level of audio that I get or the quality of audio that I get. All these are features. Advantages is what it does. when I have a phone of a particular visual quality or video quality or audio quality, what it does. For example, I'm delivering this lecture through my phone. What it does is it enables me to talk to you. It enables me to deliver my session seamlessly. Now that is what it does. But from a marketer's perspective, what is more important than the product, than the features and advantages is the benefit. What is the benefit of these features and advantages? What is the meaning of these features and advantages to me? I am the user, and for me, these features and these advantages, they give me a peace of mind. They give me a level of comfort. Even before the lecture started, I was quite confident that I would be able to deliver my session. And I will be able to talk to you, and I'll be able to explain these concepts to you, even when my laptop's audio setting is not working. So that confidence, that comfort is benefit. And therefore, features are tangible. Advantages can also be tangible, but benefits are always psychological. And when you talk about brand identity, when you're talking about branding, you are essentially talking about the benefits, more specifically, the psychological benefits that the product or the service offers you. So like I said, not necessarily products, but services can also be branded and are branded. Personalities are branded, people are branded. So when we say that Anurag Kashyap's movie, when we say that James Cameron movie, when we say that a James Bond movie, these when we say Amitabh Bachchan's movie, these brands, these personalities have become iconic personalities, and they promise to deliver a particular performance. They promise to deliver a particular content that would satisfy our expectation. Brand building, it involves all the activities that are necessary to nurture a brand into a healthy cash flow stream after launch. So when the product is launched, it may not have a particular POD or point of differentiation, but through carefully nurturing, the product eventually becomes a brand where it is associated with a particular quality, and it helps the brand to stand out among its competitors. Clutter is a term that I would like to use here. Clutter is when there are so many options available, when there is so much of information available. For example, how many advertisements do we see every day? We can't even remember. An average American probably would see more than 40,000 commercials every week on television. They do watch more television than we do, and therefore they would be exposed to more number of commercials than we do. But even Indians, we people, we are also exposed to a good number of commercials. How many of these advertisements do we remember? And what is particular about the advertisement that we remember? So all the information that is bombarded on us is called as clutter. Clutter is a mess. And amidst this mess, brand is something that helps us to make a choice, make an informed choice, make an informed decision, or take an informed decision. So that's a major advantage. That's how brands are nurtured. Brands are not born. They have to be nurtured. So you have to carefully nurture those brands into what they eventually become. So what is this nurturing? What kind of activities need to be done? First, the product itself. The product itself has to have certain qualities, attributes, certain promises that would help it to become a brand. Then the packaging. You know the difference between packing and packaging. How the product is packaged, how the product is packed, how the advertisements are done. Advertisements, they have three functions to perform. Advertisements inform you, advertisements persuade you, advertisements remind you about a product or a service. So, when the advertisements are made, creative advertising, smart advertising, out of the box advertising helps a particular product to create its identity. And that's why advertising becomes a very, very important element of a brand. How the product is promoted. Advertising is not the only way of promoting your product. You are familiar with the entire communication mix, out of which advertising, no doubt, is a very important ingredient. But there is sales promotion, there is personal selling, there is direct marketing, there is publicity, there is PR. All this together, when it combines into a promotional mix, that promotional mix, it delivers the punch that is required to create a particular brand. When we are traveling on a road, we see so many hoardings by the side of the road, billboards. How many of them do we remember? But if we see the hoarding of an advertisement of a brand with which we are loyal, we distinctly remember that. We at least notice that. If last time we spoke about Amul, Amul has created that brand, and Amul has created its brand icon in the form of that young girl wearing a polka dotted frock. That is the identity of Amul. Wherever we see that, we associate that with brand Amul. Or the big yellow arc of McDonald's. Wherever we see that, we notice that. We don't need to be told that you have a McDonald's outlet here. That is how you create brand. That is how brands are nurtured. And sales and distribution, how do you sell a product and how the product is distributed, it also helps you in creating the brand. So this is how brands are nurtured. And brand equity is when a commodity that subsequently becomes a brand. There's a particular value, there's a particular commercial value, there's a particular financial value attached to a brand. So when people buy a brand, then you not only buy the manufacturing facilities, but you also buy the goodwill, you also buy the brand equity, you also buy the brand loyalty of people. So brand equity is measurable. You can calculate it in terms of money. There are various ways of doing it. So in other words, it's the premium that can command in the market, brand equity, and difference between the perceived value and the intrinsic value of the product. And then when certain commodities, they become brands and they become very, very powerful brands, then we call them power brands. Power brands are those which rule the market. And when a company is able to create several such power brands, then that's how the company becomes successful in the market. That's why the company's overall presence in the market is highlighted. So when the brands have high brand equity, the company can have more leverage with the trade. That means the company's presence in the market is stronger, bigger. The company can charge premium on its product. Branded products versus commodity products, branded products are available at a premium price and people would not mind paying that premium. That's because the kind of psychological comfort that they get out of buying a branded product is so much that they won't mind paying premium for a branded product. A very common example is that of generic drugs versus branded drugs. When I say drugs, I'm talking about medicines. I spoke about a brand called Dolo, which had become extremely popular during the COVID-19 outbreak. And invariably, all the people who were having COVID or people who were having the reaction of the COVID vaccine, they were advised to take a Dolo tablet. At least I had not heard of this brand before COVID, but during COVID, it became a household brand. And even after COVID, it continues to be a household brand. So I was intrigued by the brand Dolo, and this medicine was prescribed to me. I searched for its content, and I found that it's nothing but 650 milligrams of paracetamol, which is a little more than a standard crocin tablet. But the leverage that Dolo got during COVID, that's how it was a carefully nurtured effort on promoting one particular brand, not the already existing one. The company can have more brand extensions. When a particular product is branded, using that brand name, the company can have more extensions of the brand, making sure that the product that carry the same brand name are some way related to the original brand. They are not drastically different from the original brand. So you have a brand popular in the market. You have Microsoft's Windows or Apple's iPhone or Marlboro or Canon or Sony as the brands or the power brands in the market. And therefore, if these companies, they introduce products or services which are related to what they are already offering, then it becomes easier for these products or services to become successful in the market. So if Windows, which is a powerful brand by Microsoft, if Microsoft decides, like Microsoft has already done, to launch a mobile phone named Windows under the brand name Windows, then it becomes easier for Microsoft to sell that product because a brand named Windows is already popular in the market. So these brand extensions are possible, provided that these extensions are somewhere related to the original product with which the brand started or original brand which was nurtured. If it is drastically different, or if the customer is not able to make that mental connect, then these brands fail or brand extensions fail. Or sometimes when the brand extensions, they are not able to fulfill the promise, that affects the brand value of the product with which the branding started. For example, I have Haldiram as a brand. It's a brand of namkeen or a brand of food products in India. If Haldiram decides to market, Haldiram decides to launch ice creams, and if they are not able to fulfill the promise delivered by the earlier brand, then that can damage the original brand. I gave you the example of why Amul is not in the market of non-vegetarian products like chicken and meat, and that is because the core value of Amul is the taste of India. The core value of Amul is to offer vegetarian products, milk-based products, and therefore, if Amul comes up with products which are based on meat or eggs, not that it is not related to Indian eating habits, but people's level of comfort could not be as good as it is now. And the last part of, or the next part, what happens when brands have high brand equity, is the company can have some defense against price competition. Because people are willing to pay more premium, or people are willing to pay premium for a branded product, the company can have some defense against competition. The company can afford to charge more charges, more price as compared to their competitors, even when the features, advantage, and benefits offered by this company or the company's products are the same or similar as compared to the competition. So this is the major advantage of branding. The brand loyalty pyramid is a very interesting concept. It starts with switchers or price sensitive people who may not be interested in buying a branded product. And these are like butterflies who would keep on shifting their loyalties from one buyer or one seller to another seller. If you go beyond that, then you have satisfied buyers who have no reason to change. Too early to say that you are a loyal customer. So let us try to understand this loyalty. Let us try to understand this ladder. Initially, you may be only exploring. You're not committed to any particular product or brand. You're not comfortable, not uncomfortable with any product or brand. You're just browsing. You like this product today, you buy it. You like next product today, you may explore it. The next is when you continuously or consistently keep on buying a particular brand. And when you are a loyal customer of McDonald's, even when the options are available, even when Burger King is available, maybe at even at a lower price, you may say, no, I'm happy with McDonald's, why should I switch? You would at least ask yourself this question. Next step would be, when I'm so happy with McDonald's that I would not even think about buying a product from Burger King. I would not even think about the price. I would say, why should I think about the price? When I'm already happy, why should I change? The next step would be, I could be an advocate, where I would not only be a committed buyer of McDonald's, I would also keep on telling others that want to buy a burger, always go to McDonald's. I become a brand advocate. And then I become a committed buyer, I even become a brand partner. So this is a brand loyalty pyramid. It would be easy for us to understand that the brand loyalty of people is decreasing. And that's why the branding concepts have become more and more important, because so many options are available. There's so many choices. People don't need to be committed to a particular brand. Because you have choice, because you have options, you can afford not to be loyal to a particular brand. On the other hand, since you have choices, you can continuously be an explorer. It's a good thing for a buyer, it's a good thing. For me, if I'm getting multiple choices, if I'm getting the same or similar quality of products and services, I'd be more than happy. I would say, why not? Why not try a new brand? Like most of you would be kind of explorers. But it presents a very remarkable challenge for the marketers. As a marketer, as a salesperson, I know that I cannot expect brand loyalty. I cannot expect brand loyalty for long. Even if my customer is completely satisfied with what I'm offering, my customer may always be an explorer and may leave me for no reason. This is the biggest disadvantage of changing times. When we had the sellers market, we had only few brands, and therefore people did not have a choice. Today it is buyer's market. People have multiple choices, and therefore people would not be interested in being loyal to a particular brand. On the other hand, since you have choices, people may want to explore new things. People may want to explore new products, new services. Even when the earlier product, earlier service was completely satisfactory or offered the best possible satisfaction, people would say, I'm happy with this, but why not try something else? So how does one build brands? Distinguishing it from others, value proposition, and brand promise must match brand delivery. We talked about this, what kind of quality you offer and what kind of quality you deliver. So you create a brand by choosing a brand name, and the brand name need to be catchy or It should make sense. It should, the buyer should be able to connect that brand name with the product or service being offered. For example, Nirma is a brand. It's a catchy name. Surf is a brand. Prill is a brand. Now these are catchy names, and sometimes the names, they do not mean anything, but at times they have certain meanings. Maybe it's an acronym like Google or Apple, or not Apple, Google. Otherwise, you can have a name that simply sounds well, and therefore you can select that as a brand name. Choosing the right name and develop rich associations and promises, and manage your customers' brand contact to meet and exceed expectations. So the logo, for example, should be made visible wherever the customer goes. We have two parts of our mind. One is a conscious mind, one is a subconscious mind. Conscious mind is when we see things, when we observe things, when we experience things, we consciously remember them. Subconscious mind is where we may not be particularly consciously trying to remember those things, but those things would be observed by us in any way, and those things would be noticed by our subconscious memory and would be stored in our subconscious memory, so that they would be, so to say, at the back of our mind. So we may not remember them, we may not recall them, but they are somewhere in our memory. And branding uses the subconscious mind or subconscious memory. So you see a particular brand, you see a particular product, you see a logo, you see a color, and then without noticing or without consciously noticing, it gets registered by your mind, it gets stored in your mind. And that is how the brand recall is created every time the customer is consciously watching that brand, or even when he is not watching the brand, he may be, it may be recalled in his subconscious memory. So I would only touch upon the last point in branding before moving on to the next concept, and that is a brand ambassador. A brand ambassador is giving a face and personality to the brand that is expected to be rubbed off from the brand ambassador. The brand ambassador is a concept where somebody is endorsing that brand, and there is something common between the person's personality or his features or his appearance and the brand that he or she is endorsing. For example, Lux is being endorsed by the best looking ladies from the film industries, and therefore Lux has positioned itself as a beauty soap, something that would enhance your beauty. And naturally, the most beautiful ladies of the film industry endorsing that brand makes a natural mental connect. The brand Reed and Taylor being endorsed by people who have played the character James Bond in Hollywood movies also make the same connect. It talks about class, talks about richness, it talks about a particular quality. And this quality is, and more important, it talks about style. And that style you associate with people who have played the character of James Bond. So brand ambassadorship, or brand ambassador has to be somebody who would have something in common with the product or service that is being endorsed, and people should be able to make that mental connect. Sometimes the mental connect is obvious, like style and richness and quality and personality. Sometimes it is more subdued, but making the choice of the right brand ambassador is a very important aspect in nurturing of a brand. So many other concepts like brand vitality, otherwise brand pitfalls, but essentially this is the concept of branding. Since you have studied the concept of branding, this will only be a brush up, And enough to say that if you want to survive in market for longer periods of time, you cannot do that only by continuing to sell commodities. A commodity, if commodity is a product without its identity, and eventually, if you want to be there in the long run, your product has to have the essential identity. And that identity, to sum it all, that identity is nothing but brand. So that was the first concept that I wanted to talk about. The second and the last concept that I'm going to talk about is CSR. CSR is also known as corporate responsibility, corporate conscience, corporate citizenship, responsible business, sustainable responsible business, or corporate social performance. So what is the CSR, and what are the rules and regulations about the CSR, and what are the arguments in favor of CSR and arguments against CSR? We briefly, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we have briefly touched upon this, but let me quickly summarize this. CSR is the mandatory initiative taken by the companies so as to support the society. CSR is when companies spend from their pocket without expecting anything in return, something for the benefit of the society. So if a company adopts a school, if a company spends money for plantation of trees, if a company provides water, drinking water to a village, if a company arranges for uninterrupted supply of electricity to its customers, then that is CSR, because the company is not really expecting anything in return. But this is not really true. Can you really do a good deed without expecting anything in return? If you answer this honestly, the answer is no. Even if you want to spend from your own pocket, unless you do it anonymously, you know that you are going to get some goodwill. You know that people are going to appreciate your effort. So that appreciation itself is the reward for which this deed is indirectly done. I'll make this simple for you. If I'm helping somebody, the least I would do, the least I would expect is the person to say thank you. So, am I helping somebody selflessly? Am I helping somebody without an expectation? The true answer is not really. When I'm helping somebody, if I'm expecting a thank you from him or her, then that's not CSR. Because I am spending money so that I'll get something in return. Very common example, you'll find if you're using a classmate notebooks, at the back of classmate notebooks, you'll find that the more number of classmate notebooks you buy, the more money will be spent for the upliftment of the society or for a social cause. That is not CSR. It's called as cause-related marketing. Classical CSR or true CSR is where you are spending money for the benefit of the society without expecting a return. Now, there are several arguments in favor of CSR. One major argument is, if I am doing my business in a society, I am there only because of society. I am getting my customers from my society. I am getting my suppliers from my society. I am getting my transporters from the society. I am getting my employees from the society. So it becomes a moral responsibility of mine to spend something for the society, to do something voluntarily for the society. This is one argument in favor of CSR. That says that you are there because of the society. If society is not there, you would not be there. So it is important, it is necessary that the marketers do something for the society. One argument, valid, fine. There are several arguments against CSR. And these arguments are equally valid. One major argument is, why should I care for the society? I am an entrepreneur. I am a businessman. I'm here to do business. I'm here to earn profit. So it's a typical capitalist argument. The argument against CSR and argument in favor of CSR can be considered to be a socialist argument against the capitalist argument. What is the capitalist argument? I am more talented than others. I have worked harder than others. I have taken initiative. I have formed a company. I am doing all the hard work. I am earning the profit. Why should I share my profit with the society? Number one. Number two, if my company is a public company, there are people who have invested in my company. Now, if I am answerable to anybody, if I am answerable to somebody, it will be these people who have bought my shares, my shareholders. So I'm not answerable to the society, I'm answerable to my shareholders. If I have to share my profit with somebody, these are my shareholders, not the society. So I should earn as much profit as I can, and I should share it among my shareholders in the form of dividends, because I am answerable to them. Equally valid argument. And another argument against CSR is, I'm already, if you say that I should do something for the benefit of the society, I'm already doing it. I'm paying taxes. I'm giving profits and I'm giving products and services to the society. I am giving them employment. I am making the economy grow, which is further creating employment for others. So why should I do anything more? Because even if we assume that we should be, as a businessman should be doing something for the society, I would say that I'm already doing it. And the next argument against CSR is, okay, agreed that I should do something for the society. I agreed that I have taken out some money. I may not have any idea on how to do CSR. I may not know how to spend that money. I'm not expert. I'm not an expert in social cause, in addressing social cause. I'm not a reformer. I don't know how to change the society. I don't even know how to spend that money. I don't even know what the society needs. I don't even know what the society's problems are. And therefore, I'm helpless. I want to help the society, but I don't know how. Again, a very valid argument. So let us not get confused between these arguments, between these sets of arguments. And let us remember that companies consider CSR, if I may use this word, as a necessary evil. It is necessary because there are laws that say that a certain amount of money has to be spent by the companies on CSR. I will explain some of these regulations on which are the companies, or which company should do CSR, what the CSR Act, what is the mandate by the government of India. If a company has net worth of rupees 500 crores or more, now these are laws by Indian companies. If the net worth of a company is rupees 500 crore or more, and or the annual turnover of the company is rupees 1000 crore or more, and or the annual net profit of the company is 5 crore rupees or more. Now, if a company fulfills any of these three parameters, then it is mandatory that the company should spend 2% of its profit on CSR. Companies below this, a company that does not fulfill these parameters, that is, if the company's net worth is not 500 crore rupees or more, or the annual turnover of the company is not 1000 crore rupees or more, or the annual net profit of the company is not 5 crore rupees or more, then these companies are not legally bound to do any CSR. Though there are companies who are doing voluntary CSR, and even when the company is not as big as specified by these three clauses. There are companies who do CSR on their own. But like I said, if the company is big enough to have a net worth of 500 crore, or a turnover of 1000 crore, or a profit of 5 crore, then the companies have to spend 2% of their net profit on CSR. So it is the responsibility of the business house. It is working proactively, and inclusion of public interest in corporate decision making. If the promoter of a company has started the business with a particular vision, and if people have contributed in that company to support that vision, then the promoter of the company should not do anything to betray the shareholders, because they have invested in you not only to get more return on investment, they have also invested in you because they share a particular value, or they share a particular vision. It may sound a little complicated to you, so I'll simplify this for you. If I have started a company and I am follower of a particular philosophy, say non-violence. So I have started a company, I am making food products, and I'm making food products where I'm committed that I would never use anything of animal source, anything that of animal origin, because I do not believe in exploiting the animal. So I won't even use milk or wool or horns of animal origin, because I don't believe in exploiting the animal for business. That, for example, is my way of thinking, my business philosophy. Now my company has gone big, and I have floated an IPO, initial public offering, where I have invited application from people to invest in my company. And like-minded people have invested in my company. People who have the same ideology that I have, they have invested in my company. And I have grown, I have become bigger with the same basic ideology that I believe in non-violence, and I do not want to exploit the animals for human activities. And I'm not going to introduce anything in the market that would contain anything of animal origin. That's my philosophy. But after I become bigger, my philosophy changes. I become more greedy, and I become more hungry for money. And then I start dealing with meat, and I start dealing with milk, and I start dealing with eggs. Not to indicate that there is anything wrong in this, but it is not in tune with my earlier philosophy. It is not in tune with what I started with. So it is a betrayal. I am deceiving, I am cheating my shareholders, because they have invested in my company with a particular value in their mind, and I am deviating from that value. This is something which is not right. Now we have slowly moved out from CSR into this area, and this area is known as corporate governance. Though it is not included in your syllabus, my effort is to tell you how CSR and corporate governance are closely related. So CSR is when you are doing something voluntarily for the society. CSR is when you want to share part of your profit for the society. CSR is when you believe that earning profit is not the only objective of your organization, but social transformation, the Gandhian philosophy. Social transformation should be the objective of your business. And hence you are not concentrating only on maximizing the wealth. You are also keeping in mind the well-being of the society. So it's not the objective of my business is not to become richer, but to become better. And when I become better, I am also taking all the members of society with me. That is CSR. And corporate governance is where I'm involving my shareholders in my decision making. To give you the definition of corporate governance, it's the mandatory disclosure a promoter has towards its shareholders, not only shareholders, stakeholders. So anybody who is associated with my company should know precisely what I'm doing, how much money I'm spending, how much money I'm making, how much profit I'm making, how much tax I'm paying, how much money I'm drawing for myself, and how much money I'm paying to my CEO. All these things must be made clear to my shareholders and my stakeholders. That is corporate governance. So we started with branding, and we saw how brands are important, how to nurture a brand, and what is brand value, what is the ladder of brand loyalty. And then we have talked about CSR. Then we have also talked about corporate governance. The idea behind telling you what corporate governance is that all the aspects of business are related. Business is not only about making some product and selling it to some people and making some fast buck and move away. No, that's not business. Marketers should not aim at this as business. Marketers should aim at creating a sustainable business. And sustainability of business means that the business is going to stay in the society. The business is going to stay in the society for long. And we are going to have a chain or a generation of people who are going to be happy because of the business. And it is going to offer customer satisfaction and customer delight. And it is going to create brand loyal customers and maybe generations of people who are loyal to my brand. And subsequently, it is going to evoke a feeling in the society that this particular company, this particular brand, this particular product, these people are good people. They are good people to do business with. But it is going to subsequently result into the well-being of the society. It is going to result into a remarkable goodwill of my company in the society. So that is a holistic concept about branding and CSR and corporate governance. At the same time, we must not forget about the bottom line. We must not forget about profit. We must not forget about customer satisfaction. We must not forget about the customer coming back to us, not the product coming back to us. We must not forget about the possible expansions and diversification. And we must not forget about the fact that in these harder times, when the PLCs of product are shrinking, when the customer loyalty is decreasing, when there is fast emergence of several brands and even faster decline of several other brands. And amidst all this clutter, what we find is there are some brands which continue to remain as strong as ever. There are some brands who go from strength to strength. There are some brands which result into generations of brand loyal customers. That is why studying the branding concept and studying the CSR concept and subsequently the concept that I added to this was corporate governance. These are important concepts. That's it for the day. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Kindly type them in the chat box, or you can subsequently pass them on to your course coordinator, whatever is convenient to you. Are there any questions? No. Thank you, Rajiv and others who have now started typing compliments. Thank you, Ashwini Kumar Mishra. Are we done, Sohail?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, if there are no questions, then we
I
can.
don't see any questions coming up, sir.
Yeah, only compliments. Just none.
I don't know. I'm always, as always, speechless for you, sir.
Oh, come on. I'm getting embarrassed, but thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you next time, which would be probably the last session of this semester. So, if there are any questions, I would advise you to make a note of this, and you can ask me during the next sessions, which, according to me, should be the last session of the semester. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.